Once upon a time, in a small village nestled deep within the heart of Africa, there lived a man named Mufaro. Mufaro was a kind and hardworking farmer, known throughout the village for his gentle spirit and generous heart. He lived happily with his wife, Ama, and their two daughters, Nyasha and Tariro. Mufaro and Ama's love was a beacon of light in their community. They worked side by side in their fields, tending to their crops and raising their daughters with care and affection. Nyasha and Tariro grew up surrounded by love and laughter, their days filled with the warmth of their parents' embrace. But one fateful day, tragedy struck their peaceful home. Amma fell ill with a fever that ravaged her body. Despite Mufaro's desperate attempts to save her, with heavy hearts, Mufaro and his daughters watched helplessly as Amma's health deteriorated before their eyes. In the end, despite their prayers and tears, Amma passed away, leaving behind a void that could never be filled. The loss of their beloved wife and mother cast a shadow over Muvaro and his daughters. Grief weighed heavily upon their hearts as they struggled to come to terms with their new reality. Yet, despite their pain, they found solace in each other's presence, drawing strength from the love that bound them together. In the days that followed, Mufaro dedicated himself to caring for Nyasha and Tariro, doing his best to provide for them and ease their sorrow. Together, they worked the land that had once been Amma's pride and joy, finding comfort in the familiar rhythm of their daily lives. As the seasons passed, Mufaro watched with pride as his daughters grew into strong and capable young women, their mother's spirit shining brightly within them. Nyasha inherited Amma's gentle nature, her heart overflowing with compassion for those in need. Tariro, on the other hand, possessed her mother's fiery spirit, her determination matched only by her boundless optimism. After the passing of his beloved wife, Mufaro found himself lonely and longing for companionship. He decided to remarry, hoping to find someone who would bring joy and warmth back into their home. Little did he know, fate had something much darker in store for him. Mufaro's new wife, Shingai, seemed pleasant enough at first glance. However, beneath her charming facade lurked her heart filled with jealousy and malice. Shingai had a daughter of her own, named Kundai, whom she adored above all else. From the moment she entered Mufaro's home, Shingai's true colors began to reveal themselves. Jealous of the love and attention Mufaro showered upon Nyasha and Tariro, Shingai set out to make their lives miserable. she would assign them endless calls, berate them with cruel words, and even withhold food from them as punishment for imagined slights. But despite our wickedness, Nyasha and Tariro remained steadfast in their kindness and resilience. As the years passed, Shingai's hatred for her stepdaughters only grew stronger. Determined to rid herself of their presence once and for all, she concocted a plan to poison them. Night after night, she would slip deadly herbs in their meals, hoping to rid herself of the girls and claim Mufaro's wealth for her own. Yet, despite Shingai's best efforts, Nyasha and Tariro remained unharmed. Unknown to their stepmother, a wise and old woman from the neighboring village had sensed the danger and warned the girls to be cautious of the food Shikai served them. With her guidance, Nyasha and Tariro remained to avoid the poison, much to Shingai's frustration. Frustrated by her failed attempt to harm the girls, Shingai turned her attention to her own daughter, Kundai. Consumed by envy at the thought of Nyasha and Tariro's impending marriages, she longed for Kundai to wed a wealthy suitor and bring honor for their family. Yet, despite her mother's efforts to find her a suitable match, Kundai remained unmarried and without prospects. Desperate to salvage her daughter's reputation, Shingai hatched a devious plan. She arranged for Kundai to meet with a wealthy merchant from a neighboring village, hoping to convince him to take her as his bride. However, things did not go according to plan. During their secret rendezvous, Kundai's intentions were not as pure as her mother believed. Instead of securing a marriage proposal, she engaged in a forbidden romance with the merchant's son, resulting in a child out of wedlock. Shocked and ashamed by her daughter's indiscretion, Shingai realized that her dreams of wealth and prestige had been shattered. Meanwhile, Nyasha and Tariro's fortunes took a turn for the better. Despite their stepmother's best efforts to sabotage their happiness, they caught the eyes of two wealthy and kind-hearted men from the village. Impressed by their beauty and virtue, the men offered to marry them, much to Mufaro's delight. On the day of the wedding, the entire village gathered to celebrate Nyasha and Tariro's newfound happiness. As they exchanged vows with their handsome grooms, Shingai watched from afar, consumed by bitterness and regret. She realized too late that her wickedness had only brought misery upon herself and her daughter. In the end, Nyasha and Tariro lived happily ever after, surrounded by love and prosperity. And though Shingai's heart remained hardened by jealousy and resentment, She could not deny the truth of the old proverb that kindness and virtue will always triumph over wickedness in the end. Months passed, and the scandal of Kundai's out-of-wedlock child spread throughout the village like wildfire. Shingai's reputation was tarnished, and whispers of her deceit echoed through the streets. Unable to bear the shame any longer, Mufaro meant the decision to divorce her before the village elders. With her dreams of wealth and status shattered, Shingai was left to face the consequences of her actions alone. She watched helplessly as Kundai struggled to raise her illegitimate child, burdened by the weight of their family's disgrace. And though she tried to seek forgiveness for her sins, the wounds and pain she had inflicted upon her family could never truly be healed. In the end, Shingai learned a harsh lesson about the consequences of her wickedness. She realized that true happiness could never be achieved through deceit and manipulation, and that the love and trust of family were far more valuable than any material wealth. And as she watched Nyasha and Tariro thrive in their newfound happiness, she knew that she had lost the greatest treasure of all. And that is the end of my story today. Kindly leave a comment of where you are watching from and what you have learned from my story. See you on my next one. Thank you. Bye.